Hi everybody, today is June 12th, Tuesday, and today I am working on a tester's sweater. Let's see you guys up real quick. That should work. I had signed up to be a tester about maybe over the weekend, and I was selected to be a tester, which is awesome. And so during that time, I received the pattern to work on and the colors. We could pick any color, the size yarn that we needed to use that was required, and all of that. So I ended up buying my yarn at Michael's. It is the Impeccable brand. Right now, it's the Loops and Threads Charisma. I don't know where I got Impeccable from, but I purchased this purple one because I was short one ball of yarn, and this one's in the color dark purple, and I'm going to use that as the cuffs for my wrists. But the majority of the the sweater is the Charisma color in taupe. And right now Michael's has Loops and Threads Charisma at $2 a skein compared to $4.97 a skein. I don't know how long the sale's gonna last. If you have a Michael's near you and you want to stock up on yarn for probably winter projects. I know it's summertime and it's too hot to be doing all of this with yarn, but I think it's a great deal to stock up on different colors. Even though, yeah, it's the same weight, it's a size 5 bulky, but you can make beanies out of them, you can make sweaters, you can make basically anything, blankets, whatever you want, and just have the yarn ready in your stash so when the weather does start to cool off, you have the color that you want. I find out that when they do a lot of yarn sales, it's either because they're gonna get rid of that select brand or those specific colors. So I usually try to stock up as much as I can. I'm actually gonna move you guys up just a little bit. Okay, there we go. But yeah, those are the colors that I chose. I'm grateful to be part of and had been chosen to be a tester for this sweater. I've never knitted a sweater, so this is my first time. It is a bottom-up sweater, so we'll see how it comes along. It is due by the 26th. So I will be working on this almost daily to try to get it done by that time frame. So I have about technically 2 weeks to get it done, and then I can show you guys. And I will be posting progress photos on my Instagram page, which is Modern Stitches Co. So Modern Stitches CO at the end. But yeah, it's exciting. I am doing this later in the day. It's about 8 o'clock right now where I live. The sun is still out, but not as bright. The reason for doing late videos like this is because today's temperature was 106. And it was just way too hot to be knitting and working on any fiber project for that matter during the day. So I was waiting to do this during the night, at least when it got a little bit cooler, a little bit more bearable to hold in my hands. I've noticed that when it does get hot and I'm working on a knitted project or a crocheted project or any project that includes yarn or string, like the DMC floss, my hands do get, unfortunately, very sweaty, and it just makes it uncomfortable to work on the project because then I overheat. And then at the same time, Sometimes I notice when I cross stitch, the needle starts to squeak because of the wetness from my hands, the sweat that's on my hands. And then also when I'm using a needle, the crochet hook or the knitting needles, my tools do the same thing. So I'm testing out these plastic needles instead and seeing how they work. So far so good, no squeaking, which is great. I might try to film early in the day, probably before the sun comes up with the window open, so I could get fresh air before the heat starts. But for today, it is what it is. And the reason why I hadn't filmed the last couple of days is because it's also been really hot. Yesterday was 105. That was hot. The past couple days has been pretty hot out here. So trying to stay cool is my priority over a knitting project or any project that requires the fiber arts, to be honest. So I'm trying to film at night or early in the morning before the sun and the heat starts to show up throughout the day. I did have another yarn in mind for this project that I had purchased at Joann's. However, that yarn was one too thin, even though it was a number 5 bulky. It was by the brand Big Twist, and I don't understand why it would be thin, but not all yarns are made the same, obviously, so I had to return that one and buy these ones instead, which I'm glad I did because this one's a lot easier to work with. It just feels really good to work with in my hands. I've had yarn that I worked with and I'm like, it just doesn't feel comfortable. The yarn's either too scratchy or it's just too stiff. I don't know if you guys have ever had stiff yarn. It's not fun. It's not fun. You want to enjoy working on your project, so you want that soft, squishy yarn that makes it comfortable in your hands. So let's move some more over. And I am working on these big circular needles. I've never worked on large circular needles before. I've done little ones, but these ones are a size, I think US 15, 10 millimeters. So they're pretty big, and just getting a little bit used to them. I think once the sweater starts to grow a little bit more here, the needles, not the needle, but the cable itself will start to stop curling on itself. Keeps wanting to do that. Do you guys have any tips to decurl the cable? It's a plastic one. Let me know. I'd appreciate it. I hope you guys are staying cool wherever you guys are at, because it is hot. It's hotter across the country in general, but stay cool. I hope you guys are. You guys have a pool, go swimming. Alright, let's see. See what I mean? How it wants to like curl on its own? But all of my stitches are facing the same direction, which makes me laugh and then double check all my work. But everything's going in the same direction, but it just wants to curl on itself. So here's how big the needles are. So that's what I'm working with today. I did want to start this project yesterday, but because it was so hot and then I had bought the wrong yarn. Well, I didn't buy the wrong yarn. I bought the right yarn, but it was just the wrong thickness for some reason, even though it's the same category 5. I started today, so this is where I'm at so far. Only done 3 rows, but it's not bad. Something better than nothing. Do you guys knit in the summertime? If you guys do, what's your secret to knitting during the day when the heat is out? Because it does get hot. My apartment today at 9 o'clock in the morning was already at 80 degrees. So that's just reference to let you guys know how hot it gets in this area that I live at. Really hot. So it does take patience, because I want to work on these projects, but it's the heat again just makes it so uncomfortable that I'm forced to practice patience by not working on them during the day. But I do have a project bag that I take with me everywhere. So while the husband is driving and I have cool AC in the car, I can work on a project. So that's one way I get around it. But at home, we live in an upstairs apartment. Our neighbors downstairs, unfortunately, like to cook a lot. And we've noticed that they like to keep their lights on all day. So I think the heat from their apartment rises up to ours, and that's why it becomes like extra hot in our little place. So we stay hydrated with lots of water, Powerades, Gatorades, ice pops, some ice cream, but we don't want something too heavy, so we do a lot of ice pops, like the Italian ice versions. We try not to cook during the day so we can reduce the added heat. So just little things like that to try and stay cool. I think I'm coming up to starting the 4th round. Almost missed that stitch. Yeah. So I didn't weave in my end. I left the tail here so that I knew where my round started. Since I am a beginner knitter, I don't have progress keepers. I think that's what they're called. And they're cute little charms that they have them attached to their project. So I don't have any of those, but I do have my phone and a camera attached to it, so I do take photos just to see like where I'm at so far. So now we're going to be starting row number 4, which is great. This is more than what I thought I was going to get done today. Keep pushing this over and over so I can have some more room. There we go. So not that much talking today to you guys. Not that much has happened in the last couple of days except excessive heat. And us just trying to stay cool. I have been watching a lot of other podcasts. I started watching Knitting Natty. Her name is Natalie, and she lives out in Texas. Her Instagram and YouTube are both called Knitting Natty, and I've just been watching all her videos so far. I like to, binge watch the videos when I find a new knitter or crocheter or cross stitcher, and so I've been watching her Vlogmas 2018 videos. I think I'm on day 9. Or no. Day 12 actually is where I'm at. Yeah, day 12. So, you guys haven't seen her videos yet. She's actually working on the a Harry Potter advent calendar, and she was opening the different skeins that came in that calendar. And it's kind of cool. She shows the color that she's working on, or she opens the little package on screen, on camera, and then she winds up the little skein. And she's a school teacher, so when she's at school during a break or whenever the kids are doing the test or whatever the case may be, she winds up the little skein, and she has a cute little lamb yarn ball, or yarn bowl, that she puts the little skein in, and she does a granny square with it. And she has on Ravelry, I believe her account name's the same thing on Ravelry, and she has a scrappy granny square pattern that's for free that she mentioned, and so that's the pattern that she uses on these skeins. And she's making a Harry Potter granny square blanket with it, since those are the Advent squares that made from the little skeins that she purchased. So yeah, I've been watching her videos. I also follow her on Instagram. You guys can go check her out. Apologize if you guys can hear the yelling outside. They're just little kids. They're out for summer break, and there's actually a pool, community pool in the general area where I'm at. Oops. And they're all hanging out there around this time. So again, sorry, it's just I have to pick and choose when I can film. So I think I'm going to leave you guys here. I'm going to continue knitting this, but I'm going to leave you guys here. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so it's going to be a cross stitch day, hopefully. And you guys can see where I'm at there. I hope you guys stay cool wherever you are. Stay hydrated. Thank you again for subscribing. I got another subscriber, so I have 12 now. Thank you, whoever was the one that subscribed. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Thank you for commenting, liking, and subscribing to these videos. I enjoy making them. And I thank you for spending time with me today, over a little bit of your day spent with me. Thank you again for that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Alright, talk to you guys later.